right, so does anybody have any questions about anything? Somebody's got a question about anything? We're all pros? Does that mean I don't have to do with this any of these sessions anymore then?
You can do the sessions. I like the back testing.
Everybody's a pro trader now, so we can all get on the bandwagon here of FTMO then. If that's the case. You know, you can get a $200,000 account now. So technically, that's over half a mil that you could be trading because you can get up to 3 accounts.
Yeah, but isn't that their money? And isn't there some stipulations? And aren't you bound to kind of working under them for them, kind of like a prop firm?
I mean, really, the only rules that you have are just the risk management rules that they set for you. I mean, they give you the list of instruments, obviously, which is pretty much all the pairs, including some cryptos. Um, and I mean, yeah, you could have up to 3 accounts. So you could have basically $300,000 accounts for 300,000, or you could have up to three $200,000 accounts. And I mean, really, the biggest thing you have to be careful is your risk management, obviously. So you can't go over a certain amount. You can't lose a certain amount any single day, or over the entire balance of the account. So I mean, I think if anything, it just keeps you aware of not doing stupid shit, or else you just get rid of they take the account away from you. So
And it makes you a disciplined trader because if you
that
can't
it
do it on
definitely does, my friend.
if you
It
can't do it on your own, and then you go through them, and so I guess there's an upside to that.
I mean, for anybody that may not have 10 grand to get started on a real account trading. Um, I think it's a real the excuse of not having money to trade anymore is gone. That has been taken already away. So that's no longer like an objection anymore. So as long as you know how to trade, like there is absolutely no excuse of you not being able to make money because you could, if you know what you're doing, you can get an account with them, and then you can just use somebody else's money, and then you're just following, risk management. That's it. So it definitely does make you a really, um, I think it improves your trading because you become better at providing better risk management for yourself, and you can't be emotional about trading when you have, you know, their account or whatnot. But I mean, other than that, I mean, it doesn't bother me because it's, I think the risk management part of it is very simple. I mean, if you really think about it, how many, most of everyone here could probably live off of 5 grand a month every month. So if you have, a $200,000 account, I mean, how easy is it for you to make 5 grand a month? So it's not like you have to take some crazy, ridiculous trades. You know, it's not like you have to risk a bunch of money or a bunch, or a lot on your trades. You can easily make 5 grand a month if you have a $200,000 account on 2 lots per trade.
Yeah, if you know what you're doing, you can make 5 grand on a 20K account. That I
That's what
know.
I'm saying. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If you know what you're doing, like the excuse of, that's what I'm saying. The literally the excuse of not having money to trade is over. So now it just becomes of a point of how well do you know how to trade. That's it. So, and by the way, you could use that money that you withdraw every month, and you could use it to help build your own account. And over time, let's say you build it to whatever 25 grand or whatever of your own money in your own account, and then now you could take more risk if you want to or whatnots. You know, but I mean it's up to you. But there's definitely no more of the excuse of I don't have any money to trade. But so for those of you in week, what is it, 6 or something, that are doing EMAs, two quick things about EMAs for this week's lesson is just to keep it as simple as possible. For me, this is how I would think about it. When you look at EMAs, or when you're looking to use EMAs, and when you're looking to trade them intraday like this on a 15-minute chart, there's really going to be one of two ways that you're going to use them. On the first hand, you're going to use them to either help you take profit, or you're going to help them, or you're going to use them to help you confirm trades. So meaning you're either going to use the EMAs that price action pins to them to help you confirm a trade, or if they're not helping you confirm a trade, they're helping you take profit on a trade. So those are literally like the two main objectives of those EMAs, right? So every day you're going to be using them to either help you confirm the trade or help you take profit on a trade. It's literally one of those two. And then obviously the third thing that you can use it for is to help you gain an overall directional bias just simply by looking at the actual EMAs, at the bigger ones at least. When you see stuff like this where you have all the EMAs going straight through price, you know that there's a conflict going on the higher time frame. So if you go up to the higher time frame, like the 4 hour, you could see the 50 is still going through price. So it's basically building out a level, although the bigger time frame tells you that you're in an uptrend. But you're seeing that you're building out this because you're not wanting to go above, let's say, this 13500 or 13600 area. But very important, just keep that in mind. Like every day, the EMAs are just literally going to pin, price action is going to pin to them, or it's going to move away from them, and you're going to use them as take profit points. So for those of you on that week, any questions on EMAs? I think it was a pretty easy week, wasn't it? All right, somebody pick me a pair.
Euro pound.
Euro pound. Since we're starting early, we'll get to do a couple different pairs.
Can you go to February too? February 10th?
February. It's supposed to be
Yeah,
raining,
it's just
bro.
oh.
That's the whole point. It's
What?
supposed to be raining.
Yeah, I just kind of had a question though.
Okay, what's the question on that day?
Well, I just wanted to on February 10th of 2020, I was back testing and I expected a trend the following week and it happened, but it trended down instead of up, which I was thinking it was going to go. And I just wanted to know your thoughts on it. Why?
All right.
I'm kind of at a cookout right now too, so it's live.
You're
So I'm gonna
kind
mute
of what?
myself. I'm at a cookout right now too.
Okay.
I can't miss out on these.
All right. So you were thinking that this was going to be going up and said it went down. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay. So I guess my first question to you is what gave you the impression that it was going to go up?
Levels on a higher time frame.
Okay. So what time frame were you at there? Were you looking at there?
I think I was like either like 4 hour daily, one of those. And then when I zoomed out, then I noticed I was like, yeah, I was looking at that as a peak low, that left one, and then level one,
You're
and was
looking at
expecting
this
it,
as the peak low.
yeah, and then level one, and then to go up after that.
Okay. So just to start from a point, right? Is I don't know what the average was at this point. I know that the averages on this pair I think are about 60 or so. 60 pips per day or whatnots. It could have been higher this time because this is probably starting of coronavirus or whatever. But so we can go off of off of that, and let me just do some counting real quick. So 210. That's one. This clearly would be another one. So on a smaller time frame, what you would have. Let's see. So on a smaller time frame, like a 1 hour time frame, you'd have um, one cycle here. This right here would be a reset, and then move down. This would actually be an unconfirmed reset here. And let me draw that again, the whole picture. So from here to here, that's one cycle. This is a reset going down. This right here would be an unconfirmed reset because when it went up to go higher, it never broke the high and it came back down. And then from here to here would be also one cycle. So you have one cycle going up from here to here, an unconfirmed reset, another cycle coming down, and then here you actually get a reset. That's how I see it, right? Now, when you just go to that specific week in general, if you take a look at what happened on Tuesday specifically, look what happened on Tuesday. You had a huge move down Sunday, Monday, went straight across, and then you ended up getting like a type 1 here, sell, and then it went continued just straight down. This move right here, this 2 day move, this 2 day move right here would let you know that you're going to be in a trending cycle. Whenever you're doing this, right off the bat, Like there's no price is not thinking about it. It's just doing it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that right there should let you know that you're in a trending cycle.
And I think when it got to Tuesday, sorry, I think I was thinking like a market maker cycle.
Yeah, I think here's where you would be thrown off of that would be if you're thinking, okay, this is a full day of drop on a let's say on Tuesday, this type 3 here on Wednesday would automatically disqualify that. But what I'm saying is because of the behavior of this huge move Sunday, Monday, it going sideways, and then just another straight move like that. That is trending cycle behavior all day long. Typically, on a market maker cycle, what you'd like to see is when this happens like this, when you have a move like this, you want to get a reversal like that, and then go sideways, and then then you start to come down. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do.
But this move here, man, and this move here is like the key. And you get trade setups the whole time too. I mean, that. There's a cord of wood there, straight down. There's a type 1 down. You even get a reversal to come back to the 50. So that's 3 trades there. You get freaking a killer type 3 here that pins to the 50. You get a continuation trade here that also pins to the 50. So I don't think Wednesday would have been a good trade setup because of this movement here. But even Friday, you get a type 1 sell. But yeah, the keys on this is going to be right here. Those 2 days straight. Does that help?
Yeah, thank you.
Good. So somebody said gold. We've done gold before, haven't we?
Yeah, I think it's been a while.
It has been a while, huh? Since we did gold. It says Adam. Alright, since there's more people here, I'll put it up again. Besides golds, any other pair that you guys want to look at or back test?
Do pound CAD.
Pound CAD. All right. So we'll do gold and pound CAD. So let's start out with pound CAD here then. All right, so what are you coming off the previous week here? What kind of cycle is this? Previous
Uh,
week,
us trending.
trending. Previous week before that, another trending
Trending.
cycle. All right, so two trending cycles in a row. So clearly we're in a downtrend. Let's go up one time frame real quick. And I mean, looking at previous structure here, looks like somewhere down here is where the main structure is, 6,700 or so. All right, so you can see price actions moving out of the middle of the range, right? And it's just moving straight across, straight across, straight across. You finally get, you open this up a little bit. Finally get movement to come down and then back up. Now, one of the things that I look at on stuff like this is how big are these candles. You can see that Asian range is how big. It's pretty big. It's pretty small, I should say. 26 pip Asian range, but look how big the actual candles are. Do you see how big the candles are? Where it covers like one of those candles covers like half of that range. So basically, like each candle is almost like 12 pip candles by themselves. You see that? So that kind of behavior, when you see that kind of behavior, it makes it pretty hard to help distinguish essentially what's a clear pattern essentially that you can see. So this is why the on the Asian ranges that are 15 pips or less, when you have candles that are that big, you want to see a type 1 for that specific reason, because the candle is so big that it's kind of hard to distinguish, which pattern it is when you have a freaking candle that takes up half of the entire thing already. So you want to make sure that whenever you're seeing that behavior like that you get something that's very clear and obvious as far as what pattern you want to take. You've been trending twice, 2 weeks in a row in one direction. Okay? Trending 2 weeks already in one direction. You can see that the TDI is already going higher and higher and higher and higher, while this is just straight moving sideways here. So you're already starting to get some type of divergence there on that. So it's like you got to ask yourself if these, are any of these first legs at all? Is this a first leg? Is that a second leg? If this was the first leg, that's the second leg, let's say, to go up. This right here would have needed to move on right away. So like there shouldn't be a big pause once you get if this is truly a second leg. There shouldn't really be a big pause into going up or whatnot, or if the opposite was the case, to go down. So this doesn't feel like a first second leg to me. This might be a first leg here, but the directional bias is really to sell, because of you've been in a trending, for 2 weeks in a row trending cycle. Unless we start getting above this 200, then that tells me that things are changing. But what's the whatchamacallit? What's the ADR for pound cat? Is it like 115 or something like that a week or something?
It's over 100. I
It's
can't
over
remember.
100, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So you figure it's at least, you know, I don't know, 300. I'm gonna say 330, 340 pips per cycle or whatnot. So see this right here. This right here might be a second leg. The question becomes, where would you take it to? And is that risk to reward ratio even there? 16 pip. Does anybody see this as a second leg, or is just that not viable?
I see it as a second leg, but I wouldn't take the trade for me because the range is too small.
A
If
range is
if if yeah, if I'm going to go to a high and try to get 50 pips, I need to have that range be,
a lot
60
bigger, right?
or so. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, gotcha. So what would this look like, anyways? I mean, you would need to obviously take it to here. Um, so you'd be looking at risk to reward of four to one almost to get there. So does anybody think that this is a good trade, or we should just skip over this one, not take it?
I see the setup, but I wouldn't take it. For me, I'm kind of picky. I mean,
Yeah.
it's there, but for me, I'm more risk to reward, and I'm targeting 3 to 1, and the range isn't big enough.
I would skip it too. This particular setup is always my big frustration because it's pinging off of the top and the bottom, and so I just don't have the confidence for
Right.
you know.
No worry, Adams. Adam said to skip it also. Okay. So yeah, I would tend to agree with everybody about these candles being pretty big. You want something that's bigger range so you can have a clear picture of everything. All right, so let's see. I would say this can be a trade down, but it's too big of a yeah, it's way too big. But I think on this, yeah, even on the 1 hour looks friggin'. Look at how messy that looks. Even on the 1 hour. All right, so let's skip this. All right, so far, kind of got just one big move here. That's it. Still going down, creating a lower low. What would be an ideal type of setup?
I would like to see something pinned to the low of that range in 3 pushes and then go back up because now the range is bigger. That's what I would like to see. I would like to see price confirmation go down like a 1, 2, 3 and 3 pushes, then engulf and then have that peak formation be valid and then go straight up.
So I guess my question is your bias to be a buyer, or do you not know yet, or are you just
I,
waiting for a pattern?
nope, I would let the price. I would let the price tell me. But that's what I would want if I was going to be a buyer. If I was
Yeah,
going to be a seller, then I would have to wait. But where
yeah.
it's at right now, I would like it to pin push back down into the low to get people to sell, trap them low, and then go up, because now you've got stops up top, you've got stops in the London session, you've got stops to where they're going to go after the money.
Mark, I'm kind of looking at this thinking it's pretty close to the 200. So what is the up to the 200 there? What is the pip value to do a type 1 up to?
44.
Oh, so maybe that's a little bit high, but at the same time, I feel like I don't know. In my mind, I would want it to go up there and then come back down.
Okay. No, I mean, it's. I think everybody has different points, right? And so, for me, every time that I take a trade, I prefer to take my trades where they're pinning to something. I like to use the EMAs more for pinning rather than take profits. I don't know why, but it's just something that I like doing. So for me, like, I would like to see something that pins either the 50 or the 200. So if that's the case, then you'd be looking at like a type 1 that pins this, something like that. Or if it's going to be a shorter sell, let's say, something that comes down and does this and it pins the 50. You know what I mean? So something of that nature, because I mean, you have this TDI still hanging around the 50 here. So we got to see how this responds at the beginning here of this session. How does price action do? So, I mean,
That helps me feel better because I think that I tend to want those EMAs as my the pins and the confirmations. And it might not reach that 50. So if you're taking it as an eventual buy, it doesn't always reach there for take profit. So
yeah. Yeah, so I mean, it's here we go. So I guess there's your question right there of whether or not you want it to pin. Well, that'd be probably like maybe a first leg or something, possibly. That's a nice big pin.
But then it depends because it seemed like it moved too fast.
Yeah. Mm. So I mean, I definitely see for me the only thing that's tradable is a type 1 sell. I think the question for me is, where is the entry at? Because so far these candles are pretty big, and I mean, we're talking 20 pips or so, really off of here. So I don't know. For me to even try to get into this, I would need a bounce back somewhere around here, because that would make way more sense. You got 15 pip, 15, 16 pip stop loss or something like that. But I would want price to come up here to do that, because taking something down here doesn't make sense. I mean, I think maybe even up here, you're risking, I think, almost 20 at that point. So I would need something to be up here close to that 200. The closer it is to the 200, the better, because obviously then my risk goes extremely down. And then now we're talking about, okay, where do you take it to? Well, the first spot would be probably just to the bottom of the Asian range or the middle. Either one, you get well over 3-4 to 1 risk to reward ratio on it. But in order for any of this shit to even play out, you definitely need a pullback. There's no question about it. There's no, this looks like a second leg here. That would be a first. You'd have 1, 2, 3, 4, only 5 candles in between. So which is why this crossover hasn't happened yet. But if you were to get, let's say, 8 candles in between or 9 candles, then you would have a much better entry. But if this thing just goes down now, I mean, it wouldn't be a really good viable trade for me. I would want to get a pullback on it. So like that. So like a pullback like that. that would be something that would give you an entry. Does that make sense? Because now you're just to get to the middle of the 3 to 1. You can see on the TDI as well. This is the first leg here, which is that spike. This is the second leg, which is almost the same length. It's now lower, and now on the TDI we're even lower. So we're starting to get some good confirmation on the TDI there. See that last pin bar? That's probably the true second leg. There's probably that pin bar there. Yeah, see how that 50 now acts as a barrier, and it's just either gonna move sideways or keep going down basically from there. Let's go back. All right, so far we're 2 days in. What are we noticing?
Looks like it's accumulating, just going from high to low so far.
There you go. It looks like it's just accumulating. That's exactly correct. It went literally right, it spiked to the same lows, and then instead of just chilling out, going sideways the rest of the day, it went right back all the way back up to the high. So definitely just accumulating so far. Absolutely. All right. All right. So I mean, based on where this is at now, what are the probabilities of what setups would you want to see on this?
Honestly, the way I'm looking at it, that price action, it looks like that big bear candle and the distance to go to the low, it looks like you're already in a sell and it's pushing up into it, and it might go down to the low. Possibly.
Yeah. I'm thinking that this is probably one of the ones that went early. I don't think this is going to reverse and go up because it's got to go through all this stuff. I don't think it wants to do that. So for me, it would need to have, the only way that I would be able to want to trade this would be if it comes back up and it does something like that. And if it can get to here, get rejected, and then sell, that's fine. But I would not take this as a buy. Just doesn't seem like it's that type of pattern. I think at the end of the day, these two EMAs, the 50 and the 200, are going to play a part here, where they're not. You actually get a tradable setup or not. Yeah, see how it's holding up price. You see the pattern here. What pattern is that? Adam's already talking about God Road. But yeah, that's not gonna go up any higher. You see how these two are acting right there on top of
At,
it.
at what time are those candles? Is that 4:45?
This is 5:45, 6:15, and 6:30.
Huh, that's weird because I know a lot of times move happened on the 45 candle right before the hour. A
Yeah,
lot of times.
yeah. So well, I mean, this is a 6:30 to 6:45 candle. The next candle will be 6:45 to 7.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, if this is Adam's God mode here, 16 pip candle. Where would you even take that to, for that even to make any kind of sense? It'd be what, to the bottom? Where would you take that to, Adam? If that's your God mode candle. Okay, that's a pretty big candle. I see you want to pull back. To the bottom of what, though? To the bottom of yesterday's high or yesterday's low? To that white line here? So, I mean, that would basically exactly give you 2 to 1. Ideally, though, you want to pull back. Some kind of pullback. That would superly minimize, your risk substantially. So if you get a pullback and you can make it to that line, that's close to 3.5 to 1 risk reward ratio. If not, let's say if you put up another one here and you do this, the other one would be a 2 to 1 risk reward ratio. So 2 different entries, one on a pullback, one not on a pullback, and we're talking about 7 pip, let's call it 8 pip difference between entries. Right, the pullback would be ideal, absolutely, yes. So let's see what happens. All right, so you get your pullback. There you go. There's your entry on the pullback. Can you make it? Nope. I don't think you're going to make it, buddy. So this went... Oh, here, let's get rid of this one then. So this one still went 3 to 1, even though it didn't make it to the bottom of the line here, or to the line. So because of the pullback, you still got a 3 to 1 risk reward ratio. Who knows, this 50 might actually hold it from going up higher, I should say. That's a pretty big candle. So you ended up making it there like freaking 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Jeez. All right. So it's Thursday now. So Thursday we're back towards the bottom here of this back and forth. So what would be, if this is going to be an accumulation cycle, what would be the best setup? Or what would be, I guess, your bias, let's say?
For me, it would be 3 pushes to the low, break the range, measure 2 times the distance. That's my target profit.
Correct. So Adam would says he's looking for buys also. So correct, you're looking for buys. Primarily
Or
looking for buys.
if they shoot straight up to get people to go long, do it in 3 pushes, pull it back, and then go short, making range, and then do the distance to go back to the low. Let them tell us.
Exactly. Let them tell us. You got that right. There's 2. There's 3. That's it right there, isn't it? Isn't that it right there? 1, 2, 3. Reverse on a star pattern.
Yeah, and it looks like that stop hunt looked like it was about 25 pips outside of the Asian range. That's what.
So yeah, about 22. Yeah.
Yep.
So obviously, I think this candle's too big. Or no, is it 19? A pullback would be nice. I think the targets would easily be the 200. Question is where's the entry at? Is it all the way up here, or do you get a pullback? I think it'd have to be something like this, 20. Ideally, you want to pull back. That's pretty big. That would be way better. Something like that. There you go. Did it make it there, though? There it is. Oh shit, I already see this coming. What are y'all thinking about? I already know what I'm thinking about.
That looks like a continuation. Yeah, already done the stop
Damn
hunt.
right. I'm already looking. There's one right there. Let's see. That's it right there. That's it right here. Looking for a continuation. It's probably pretty big too. Where would you go to? Let's see, it's for 2 to 1. Yeah, that's way too high. Maybe up to here. By the first step. That would give you 2 to 1. And I'd actually lower the risk. So if I get taken out, I get taken out right away. Hell, if you have a pullback, that'd be fucking even better. But let's see. You can get a little bit of a pullback. Damn, we're already up all the way at the top now. Look at that. Back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. So then what's the next ideal setup then? If this, let's just say if this is going to stay, you know, in this accumulation cycle, right? For me, it would probably be either a type 1 or a type 2. Maybe a type 1 that pegs off of this, comes down. Maybe a type 2 that's somewhere like this. I don't know. Something like that. If this is going to stay within its range or whatnot.
I agree with that, but I would also like it to see it break out of that high and then put back into it. That high becomes the new low and then continue to go up.
Okay. So you're counting almost like this could be the bottom then, right?
Could be.
The bigger picture, you know what I mean? Because if it continues to go up, then obviously this would be like the bottom, literally, of a bigger picture reversal. You know what I mean? To go up higher. See that? That's it right there. That's the second leg. First, that's a really short one too, man. That's too big. Is that too big? Yeah, it's too big. Hmm? Is anybody else seeing this? Or is it just me?
Yeah, I see it. I just don't trust that price action because I see it pinning like that, but I don't like that last candle that trapped sellers. Not yeah, that one.
This one?
Yeah, I don't like that candle that high for some reason because that could be a bull trap.
Yeah.
Might not be, but
Well, I mean, this is pretty big, anyways. I mean, about 15 pips or so. I don't know. What would it be even? You would need it to come down here. Yeah. I don't know. Unless I get a pullback again. But that's a little bit of a pullback there. I mean, that would have made it better. To the 200, that would have been 2.5. Yeah, so 2.5. All right, so accumulation week. That gave a lot of trades, didn't it?
I would have been all over that. There's things I saw in that thing. I just didn't say anything, but there were trades I saw there that the pattern was there, and I like to look on the smaller time frames, like the 1 minute chart, and confirm on a pin because you see the same things. And But that's yeah.
I'm trying to go like super early, huh? I get like anxiety looking at a 1 minute chart. Oh shit! I reset the whole thing. But yeah, looking at a 1 minute chart, I'd get anxiety. Goes here, goes there.
I just look at it for structure. I don't enter. I know some people do, but
Yeah.
a lot of times, especially when I'm trading pound NZD, they like to do 2 bar reversals, 3 bar reversals, and you don't see the pattern on the 15 until they go 30
Right.
pips down.
Yeah.
So I can get in on the pin, and on the 1 minute, you'll see the structures on the pin at the high or low.
Right. Yeah. You're talking about if you do like, let's say, a 15-minute railroad track, right? That's 15 minutes up, 15 minutes down. That's like freaking damn near eight candles, on a what,
Right.
5 minute,
Yeah, and you'll see the
Yeah,
M's
you'll
and
see. Yeah,
W's and
yeah,
all
I get
that,
you.
and then you can enter there. Your risk is smaller. You can target a 3-to-1, 4-to-1. I mean, it's yeah,
Yeah, I get it. It's like basically looking at a railroad track on a 1 hour and then switching to the 15 minute. So you can actually like see the pattern and stuff. So no, I get it. All right, so the other one was gold, you said. Let's do. All right, so we got a head start here on this. All right, Adam, this is what you wanted to see was gold, right? This is one of your pairs that you trade? All right, so let's start playing this here. All right, so a couple things on gold is that you got to remember the pip value on this stuff is like ridiculously crazy high, and the stop losses are way bigger on this than a regular pair because of the pip value. So it's not going to be 15 or even 30 pip stop losses, more like probably 60. 16, you're going for like 120 or so for a 2-to-1 on this. I mean, clearly you could see it's coming out of the middle. It went to the top. It's not going to make it to the middle because of the 50 and the 200 holding it from reaching that. So
Hey, Mark.
yeah,
Right before the New York session started, you see that big breakout candle that
yes,
cleared the range? Okay, you could have got in on that pullback. That's just something that I see. When that broke that entire structure,
this one.
no, no, no. Up, go left. Yep, go right, right, right. At the start of New York, at the start of the New York session.
Right here.
Yeah, that pull back, that pin right at the candle before that.
Okay.
When that broke that entire structure
Oh, right here.
and it closed. Yeah,
Yeah, okay. I
well,
didn't see the candle. That's, or I didn't see the pin. That's why.
yeah,
It
the
was right
candle
on the
before it
line.
though. Yeah, the candle before it, the big candle that broke that entire structure.
Yeah.
Okay. That right there tells me that, they're getting ready to go up, for however many pips, and then you have the pullback. And honestly, I would have entered there because that's looking like, to me, that's a continuation of the trade that started in Asia, because it's pinning to the 50, then it broke that structure.
Yeah.
So
All right. So Tuesday. So this right here would be a type 3 for me. I'd really want to pull back though, because that's a pretty big candle. So, I mean, it's really actually only 15 pips or so. By the way, when you do this on gold, the decimal is 1 off, so it's not really 145 pips. It's actually 14. Where's, so to get 2 to 1 out of this, or something like this, you want to pull back on the next candle probably, because if not, you're not going to get a 2 to 1. So you definitely want to pull back to get a 2 to 1. Yeah, it's a 2 to 1. There's a pullback there. So you had a type 3 in London. And so now the question becomes, all right, if this is moving back up here, could you get either continuation trade or let me see. This looks like it's what is this doing? Yeah, so this is trending higher. Let's see. Any thoughts on this so far?
That shift candle, that red candle, is that the 8:30 candle? 8:30 a.m.
It's the 8:30 candle, yeah.
I see the setup, but I wouldn't trust it only because of the 9 o'clock and the 9:30 when the stock market opens.
Yeah.
I would like to see that behavior more towards 9 o'clock or 9:30, but it might go. I mean, the behavior's there and the stop hunt and continue.
That's not gonna go. It's gonna go up. Yep. This is probably going to be one of the ones that come out of the middle and don't go to the bottom or to the top. Obviously, probably not going to go to the bottom because of the 50s there, but it's not going to care to want to go either, like to the bottom. It's just going to probably go. I wouldn't think that it would go here and then come back down again. Yeah. It'll just go as a type 3 here, straight. So what would you be looking for on this? On this next day here?
I would still be looking for buys based on price action.
Yep. Still looking for buys. Seeing whether or not we can get probably, I don't know, maybe a Type 3 pin to the 50, type 1 pin to the 200. Something like that, maybe.
That works. Or I would like to see a stop hunt, a 1, 2, 3 into that peak formation low, and then take off.
Yeah. Adam, you like the pins to something also. You like that theory. Yeah. I like that theory a lot too, man. Pins to something. Pin it to something. Pin it to the 50, pin it to... Yeah, I don't know why, but... I'm gonna get it. I'm kind of interested in how they didn't take out that high there of yesterday. And they're almost scared to take out that high today also. There it is. Here's one big fat candle for you. I don't know, maybe a multi-session. I think the question is, you have to come back. For this to be doable, you would need a pullback. 34 pip risk to 80 pip, almost an 80 pip, over 2 to 1. So you need a pullback. If you don't get a pullback, there's no trade. It's not something that's doable. Damn, you get one. Yeah, you do get a pullback. So you get a pullback, and then 2 candles later, you're out of the trade. It's a beautiful thing. So already, it's already smoking down. Would that be some actual, what do you call it, OMG, some false moves here? Damn. I was hoping it would I was hoping it'd reverse in the middle of that range there. But no. I mean, that is technically a type 1 though. Ah, there you go. Is that a second leg railroad track? First leg here, second leg here.
Yeah, that looks like it. And I see the 1, 2, 3. So
So just to the bottom, you would need to go. So that's a 2 to 1. And you get a pullback. Holy shit. That's even a better trade. Right there. Because if you're wrong and it just goes up, you're like out in the next candle. That's what's up. Yeah, that's a 3 to 1 almost. Yeah, it's almost a 5 to 1 now. Keeps going. It's a 5 to 1. It's a 5 to 1 risk reward ratio on that one. It's pretty dope. Pretty dope. Pretty dope. Damn. Yeah. That was dope. There it is. There it is.
see, they would have fooled a lot of people. I know people would have chased that red candle. They would have went short.
Yes.
Instead
Yes.
of going with the timings, they would have went short and got smashed.
Yep. That's right. Adam's like, I just lost money. Yep. I mean, think about it. We're still not going above this high either, so. What is that? 25 pip. What setup would make sense here to go? I mean, 2 to 1 would be like right here. Damn near. A pullback would be better too, though. Tiny bit of a pullback. Damn, talking about being to the point. That's literally to the point. Sheesh. Damn. This is looking like another accumulation between somewhere around here, possibly up here. And that would probably be a trade right there. You need a pullback. I don't like that it has to go through this crap again either. Something like this. 30 pip stop loss, 83 pip. But yeah, idea you want to pull back. If not, it's way out. So maybe half. I think a pull back half of that maybe would make sense. Half of the candle at least. Or the full fucking candle. Or the full candle. Either way. Like that's even, now it's almost like a 4-to-1. Jeez. I mean those are like really easy targets to hit on one candle. Everything else after that's like a gift. This is right at 9:30, 45 candle too. Very sideways movement. Oh, what is that? What is that? Here's the first leg, second leg, and that pattern right there. So the question is 33, where would you take that to? 2-to-1 would be up here. Is that reasonable? Should be reasonable, right? Another candle. you miss it by like freaking 3 pips or something? Still in that same range the whole week. Same accumulation cycle range for that whole week. It's almost like it's basically stuck between this and this crap here. So that looked like a really nice second leg from this one also. Nothing. This is all sideways crap. Friday. It bounced off of here. Yeah, it's just gonna keep going. Nope, just keep going. Yep. Nothing. So you only had what, 1, 2, 3 trades that week. 1, 2, 3 trades the previous week. Or no, 4 trades with this one. So, any questions? Yep. No questions? All right, if you guys have any questions, then we'll see you on Tuesday for London. And then starting in May 1st. When's May 1st, by the way? Next week? Yeah, next week. No, the week after. So starting May 1st, moving forward, we're doing the trade room sessions, still Tuesday, still Thursday. I'm taking away Wednesday. So just Tuesdays and Thursdays. Still same thing. Tuesday, London. Thursday, still US session. Okay?
Okay.
Thanks, Mark.
You're welcome. You guys have a good one. Be safe. Enjoy the rest of your weekend.
You too. Thanks.
Yep.
Thanks, Mark.